All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started with today's session. And as always, I like to go over the productivity model just so that you guys are all on the same page as to how you want to be running your business so that you can really scale up in this market and really in any market. Because once you are able to develop these habits and you make them and integrate them to your daily activities, once you see it, once you do it, once it's integrated into you and what you're doing each day, you can't unsee it, you can't unintegrate it. It's always going to be there. And that's where you will have the power to generate consistent and predictable income, which is the number one challenge for all real estate agents. There's 1.3 million real estate agents across the United States, and every one of them have always faced the same challenge, and that is the roller coaster ride of income. So productivity model that I use is expectations. You need to know and be crystal clear on where is it that you want to get to? Where are you going? What is it? What is the amount of units you're going to close in the next 12 months, specifically and exactly? What is the amount of income, realistic income, right? Everyone gets into real estate and they all want to make six figures, but hey, you know what? You need to be crystal clear what realistically for your current life situation, for whatever it is that you're doing, however it is that you are running your business in real estate, what is going to be realistic? You have to develop the skill sets. And the only way to develop the skill sets, my friend, is through practicing. That's why I'm going to say it every day and every time. If you don't have a mentor that is helping you practice, that is helping you get into the trenches, that is walking the walk with you, then you're not going to be able to build those skill sets to the level that you want to build them and to the level that you can build them. Those skill sets are going to give you one thing. You want to write this down in your notebooks. I tell everyone, hey, get a book. I've got my own books that I use as my playbook, whether I'm with my mentor, my coach, whichever one of my teachers. I'm always writing down my playbooks because that's what I go back and I review. So those skill sets, as I was saying, are going to help you develop the most powerful thing that you can have, and that is confidence. When you are in front of a seller, when you are in front of a buyer, when you are answering the phone, when you are handling objections, when you are overcoming those objections, and when you are positioning yourself to win. Write this down on your notes. You got to position yourself to win. You cannot walk in to a buyer consultation, which is one of the things that I'll be teaching you throughout these next 9 weeks that we still have left. Whenever you walk into a listing presentation, you have to position yourself to win. So confidence is key. Write that down. Confidence is key. But you're not going to have confidence without those skill sets. And that's where everything becomes a domino effect. The second pillar, or the second stage or phase in the productivity model, is the know-how. You go to a lot of Zoom meetings, you go to a lot of trainings, great seminars, you go to a lot of great classes, and they give you what you need to do, right? But how do you do it? So this is where you are going to be taught, but then you have to do the assignment, guys. You are in real estate. That means that you are an expert. The moment you get your real estate license, the state considers you an expert. You have to test what you are learning. That is called implementing. Implementing is everything, because if you just get the information, but you never implement it, you're never going to know how to play at a higher scale. You're going to test it. You're going to see, does it work for me? Does it not work for me? Do I like it? And when I say, do I like it, it's not that you are going to make six figures doing just what you like. It's, is this really aligning with me and where I am going in my real estate career? Is this really aligning with me and what I want to do for my real estate career? And then you can contest it. So, we're going to have a lot of learning for those of you that are going to be doing this for the next 9 weeks with me. And those of you that have been with me for the last 3 weeks, we're going to reach certain points where we are going to debrief, because debriefing is really important. That's what contesting means, debriefing. And you need to do this on a daily basis as well. Always audit, write this down, audit what you did the day before, every day before you plan your day. That means that if you are in real estate, your number one job, and we're going to talk about that today, is setting up appointments. You got to look for the people and talk to the people. You got to look for the people and talk to the people. That's your number one job. That is what you get paid to do. You don't get paid to list houses. You don't get paid to show houses. A lot of times I hear agents talking about buyers that they're going to go show houses to. Change the lingo, my friends. You get paid to sell property. So what you want to say is intentional, and you want to say, I'm going to go sell a house today. I got a buyer. I'm going to go sell them a house today. And when you speak to those buyers, you want to be able to say the same thing. So you got to contest it. You got to debrief it. The other thing is that somebody's got to hold you accountable, and it cannot be you. I'm going to tell you this until you actually get it. Once you get it, you can't forget it. Implementing feedback, you got to improve. How did I do yesterday? How did I do with my appointment settings yesterday? Today is Wednesday. How did you do with your appointment settings on Monday? How did you do with your appointment settings on Tuesday? Right? Are you on track? Are you off track? Because I'm going to give you the #1 secret to real estate. No appointments means no money. If you didn't have an appointment on Monday, you're not getting paid in the next 30 days. I'm here to tell you the truth, and the truth is going to set you free because I know how to play the game of real estate. I've been playing it for 23 years. So now what I'm doing is I'm looking for people that above and beyond just having a license, they want to have income. You want to have income. The only thing your license does is make you legal to get paid, but all these things that I'm telling you are going to give you income. So you have to implement it. You got to get feedback. You want to improve, and you want to repeat. That's exactly what you want to do day in and day out. And you want to develop those skills until they're automatic. That's going to bring you to the #1 thing you're looking for, which is productivity, and productivity equals results. Results equal income. Income equals you fall in love with real estate even more. Income is good. You can quit your job. You can fire your boss, or you can diversify your income, or you can level up. You can scale up financially, or maybe what you're doing real estate for is to be able to diversify your income, but without results, you can't do it. Once you've developed results, you are then going to go to that next level where you are mastering your skills. So skills produce mastery, and that gives you quality of life. That gives you quality of life. So that is always the productivity model that I follow. Last week, just to kind of recap on what we talked about, last week we talked about why are you not where you could be? Well, write this down. What is my daily method of operating? How am I operating daily? Am I operating like a part-time, I'm going to do this for as a hobby. I'm going to do this if when somebody calls me, or are you doing it intentionally? Look at your daily method of operating. You got to do a discovery session. Look at your last 90 days. Write this down. Go back and look at your last 90 days. Now, I can tell you everything you need to do, but you are the CEO of your real estate business. You need to act like a CEO, think like a CEO, perform like a CEO, right? So that you can produce CEO income. Because if we treat real estate just like a part-time job, then you're going to make part-time job money. If you treat real estate as, well, I'm just going to give it a try and see what happens, then you're going to get that kind of money. But real estate is a powerful vehicle for income producing, financial legacy building, and generational wealth building. So I don't know why you got into real estate, but I can tell you what, real estate has created the most amount of millionaires in the US of A. So you need to decide, what am I going to do with this? Why am I not where I could be? Because your daily method of operating may not be at the level that it needs to be, or it's not focused on doing the things you need to do. What is the distance between you and your next closing? It's your daily method of operating. So #1, you got to edit your last 90 days. Look at how many appointments you're scheduling. Look at how many open houses. If you're doing one open house a month, it's going to take you a year to have one closing. At that level of operation, it's going to take you a year to have one closing, because right now in this market, it's all about massive action. Write that down, massive action. So audit your last 90 days. How many appointments? How many open houses? How many people did I talk to? How many listings did I get? That's what we get paid to do. We get paid to sell and list property. Write that down. I get paid to list or sell property. We don't get paid to put them on the MLS. We don't get paid to go be a tour guide for people that are just wanting to look at houses. A lot of people get into real estate and they say, well, I love watching HGTV. Well, the people on HGTV are making money. But in real life, this is not about HGTV. This is not about the twins that flip houses. This is about the nitty gritty and the real struggles in the trenches, whereas you have to find what it is that is going to work for you to get those appointments. And then be great at it, man. Be great at it, because just in our local realtor association, there's over 7,000 real estate agents. In our tri-county area of Southwest Florida, we've got over 25,000 agents. There's a lot of people with a real estate license. The question is, why is the buyer going to work with you? Why is the seller going to choose you to sell their property? You got to be great, because nothing else pays. Nothing else is going to pay you. So this is what leads me to telling, and I tell this to all my coaching clients, and I tell this to all my mentees. I say, look, everybody wants to eat. Everybody gets into real estate because I want to make a lot of money. I want to be my own boss. You know, I love real estate because I always answer my phone. That's part of your job. Answering your phone is part of your job. You know, oh, I'm a real good people person. Well, you know what? That's not going to get you paid. Being a good people person is going to open doors for you. But once you walk into through those doors, you got to decide what you're going to do. So let me tell you what season we are in. Write this in your notebook so you're real clear on this. We are in the whatever it takes season. And we are going to be in the whatever it takes season until 2025. So I am making that prediction. And I have the experience and the authority to do it, because not only have I been doing this for 23 years, but just so you know, I am a 2008 market crash survivor, where it took us 4 years to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So going from selling tons of houses and having over 125 agents in my Century 21 company to ending up with 19 agents, and 18 of them were not making any money in 2012, and having to rebuild and make my comeback, teaches me now that every season of real estate is different. And right now, write this down, we are in the winter season of real estate. What does that mean? That means that it's going to take a lot of hustle, but it's going to take a lot of intentional hustle. It's going to take a lot of grit. This is not for the weak at heart. This is not for the people that are going to play small. This season is not going to be for the agents that are not getting in the right rooms to redesign their play, to redesign how they're going to operate. So a lot of people want to eat, right? Everyone wants to eat, but few are willing to hunt. What does hunting look like? Write this down on your notebook. What is exactly the income producing activity that I am willing to master? What is the income producing activity that I'm willing to master? What do I mean? Are you wanting to be a buyer's agent? Write that down. Maybe that resonates with you. I want to be a master buyer's agent. I want to work with buyers. Okay. Number 2, tell me what kind of buyers. Is it A, investors? Is it B, vacation home buyers? Is it C, first-time home buyers? There's a lot of different kind of buyers. Or I am going to be a listing agent. I want to become a mean, lean listing machine agent. You have to define, what type of properties am I going to be listing? Is it A, residential? Is it B, commercial? Is it C, vacation, properties? So it takes a lot of crystal clear intention for you to decide, what is the income producing activity that I'm going to focus on? Accountability is the glue to everything you do. So right now, accountability, here's what you want to write down. Accountability is the glue that ties commitment to results. At what level are you producing results? How many closings did you have in the month of June? How many closings did you have in the month of July? And how many closings are you on track to have in the month of August? That is all that counts. Once you do that, and we're talking about mastering real estate, this is what it takes to master real estate, is knowing how to play the game of real estate. So accountability is a glue that ties, right, commitment to results. And results is everything. Results is how many times are you getting to that closing table? So the first thing that you need to know is, What are the results that I've produced? Because if you don't see the results, of you, maybe you're at zero. You know what? I had no closings in May, June, or July. And right now I am, I don't know, on track to no closings in August. Or maybe you had one closing in May and no, I don't know where you're at, but you need to know where you're at so you can define where you're going. Because part of what we're going to talk about in mastering real estate is how to reverse engineer. Real estate is a numbers game. Write that down, guys. Real estate is a numbers game. Your numbers will define your trajectory. I can give you the numbers. They don't lie. Numbers don't lie. And these numbers have been created for, oh my gosh, 30, 40 years, right? As a matter of fact, everything in sales is a numbers game, and real estate is a numbers game. So what is the objective that we're going to follow? A lot of things that we're going to talk about in mastering real estate is helping you have a crystal clear mindset of understanding that there's a difference between the agent mindset. Write this down, because you need to identify, am I stuck in the agent mindset? Am I thinking like an agent, or am I on track to thinking like an entrepreneur? Let me tell you, agents don't have an entrepreneur mindset. An entrepreneur makes an investment of money, time, and experience and expects a return on that investment. Real estate agents show up, play small, have no discipline, lack focus, lack skill, and they expect to make a lot of money. That just does not align. So habits that produce results. What are those habits that you're going to produce? And let me tell you, I have had real estate agents that have had a full-time job. And with a full-time job, they have been able to produce $40,000 a year in a normal standard market like the one we're living in right now. So maybe that's you. Maybe you want to get to the point where, you know what, I got into real estate and I want to be able to fire my boss. Or I got into real estate and I just want to diversify my income by $40,000 a year. Okay, how many closings is it going to take for you to generate $40,000 a year? Those are things you need to learn. So habits that produce results, what are those intentional, premeditated habits that you need to develop to be able to have that intentional income? How do you work smarter and not harder? I'll give you a clue of how you work smarter and not harder. It's called consistency. Consistency is key. You have no idea how many realtors do 1 or 2 open houses and then they have the audacity, or maybe it's just they don't know what they don't know, to say open houses don't work. That is the biggest not fact on the planet. Open houses work. What doesn't work is 1 or 2 open houses a month. So maybe you're going to be a master of open houses, which open houses are the best thing to do if you just like to be right in the field and have people coming to you. But you have to position yourself in those open houses like a master, like an event planner. So going back to my agent in 2019 that had a full-time job, and she was able, I said, if you do these things, you are going to be able to transition. I said, how much do you need to make to be able to fire your boss and then continue to grow from there? She said $40,000. You know how she made $40,000? She became the best student. She followed directions, right? She went into an apprentice mindset. She went into an apprentice mindset because a lot of real estate agents, or the real estate agent mindset, is don't tell me what to do. I'm an independent contractor. Well, yes, there's a lot of independent broke agents out there that are not making money. So how do you work smarter, not harder? You have to take something and you have to do it consistently. How does she, and I'm giving you this example so you actually know that this is proven, it's been tested, it's been contested, it works. She would hold open houses every single week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They started seeing her so often in her open houses. The sellers around the open houses that she was doing started to come into the open houses and asked her to come over because we're looking to sell our home. That is how you master open houses. Could you imagine the power behind being able to have sellers from around where you are actually holding an open house coming to your open house and saying, hey, we have noticed that you've been holding open houses consistently here for the last couple of weeks. We are thinking of selling our home. That is how you master open houses. The power of vision in business, that's something we're going to talk about. The power of your identity. Again, who are you in the real estate business? How are you stacking up against your competition? Who is your competition? You got to do some intelligence, and you have to know when you walk into a listing presentation or when you walk into a buyer consultation, you need to know who are you up against. And it's one of the questions that most agent-minded realtors don't ask. Are you seeing properties out in the market right now? Have you seen anything you like? And normally people are going to be very honest and say, yeah, we saw a couple of houses that we liked. Okay, that right there is telling you they're working with somebody else. What is the next number one question you need to know? Do you mind telling me who's been showing you those properties? Because you need to know who your competition is. Or if you're walking into a listing presentation, who are they interviewing for the job of selling their home? And you would be amazed how many agents don't know what they don't know, and they just never even ask. The power of identifying who you are in the marketplace, forming those strong skill sets, and outstanding performance. There's a difference between being interested and committed. I have to tell you this because, and you know, this is something that I could share all the time because we need to think about this every day. When you're interested in something, you'll do it when it's convenient. You know, I'm going to make my calls. I'm going to make my appointments. I'm going to reach out to people. And right now we are setting the foundation. These last 3 weeks have really just been setting the foundation to what it's going to take to master real estate. Some of you have been here consistently. Some of you have not been here consistently. I don't know what you want to get. I don't know what kind of mastery you want to develop, but if you're really looking to scale up, and let me tell you, this is the best market to do it because most people are sitting and waiting to see what happens. Most people in real estate right now, most real estate agents, your competition is sitting and waiting to see what happens. So you get to decide, am I going to see am I going to be one of those that are sitting and waiting to see what happens? Or am I actually going to be one of those that are going to take massive action and sprint? So there's a difference between being interested and committed. When you're committed, you don't accept excuses. When you're committed, you carve out that time. You do some mind mapping. Write that down. Go look on YouTube this week. Mind mapping. It is one of the most powerful concepts that you and I include myself, right? Because we're all learning. You and I can learn how to do in this market. Mind mapping, time blocking. Okay. We have to scale up on the things that are going to be necessary for us to outperform everyone else. So where does lead generation actually begin? Where does it really begin? It begins with the intention of you deciding at what level you are going to play. For example, I'm sure a lot of you have heard about, and everybody asks when they're going to join a company, am I going to get leads? Write this down. Every lead is a seed. Every lead is a seed. Every lead is a seed. As of today, if you did one thing and you looked at every lead that you got as a seed, you would never again think that there are bad leads. There are no bad leads. Let me tell you why. Go buy this book, The Power of 6 Degrees. The Power of 6 Degrees. The Power of 6 Degrees tells you that we are 6 people away from everyone else on the planet. What that means is when you are working with a buyer or a seller, don't worry about them not wanting to buy with you. Focus on building the relationship, the connection. Write that down. This is the first C that I'm going to start talking about in the 4 C's. Write this down. 4 C's of lead conversion. I developed a concept called the 4 C's of lead conversion, and the first one is connection. Connect with the person. Why? Because that person knows somebody that is going to want to do business now, even if they're not willing to do business now. So what does that look like, guys? That looks like this. Oh, I called the lead and they said they don't want to buy. Well, okay, but let's connect with that lead. Let's develop rapport with that lead. Let's develop a system for you to capture those leads and continue to be top of mind with them so that you build the connection. And when they think of real estate again, or when they are in a conversation with someone that they know, they're going to think of you because you have remained top of mind. So the power of lead generation, and lead generation begins with you deciding at what level am I going to play. So this right here, this slide that I'm sharing with you, okay, is a study that was done by Zillow. And for those of you that have, and you can even gauge yourself and decide, well, when I've gotten a lead, how many times have I called that lead? Have I called them one time? You have less than a 40% chance of converting that lead if you only call them one time. If you call them twice, right? Just twice, now you're up to 60%. It's going to take a minimum of 6 times of you calling that person. Write that down. Every lead must be called 6 times at a different time. Think about this. It's not the lead's job for them. It's not their job to be ready for you to call them. It's not the lead's job, right, or responsibility to be available when you call them. It is your job to find what time is the best time to connect with that lead. So lead generation begins with, how many times am I going to make the intention of contacting the lead? And if you want to master lead generation, it's 6 times. Now, a lot of people think, and here's where the entrepreneur mindset comes in. You know, you could be making these calls at red lights. I'm not going to tell you to call people while you're driving, but there is no bigger dead time than driving time. I'm like, what else is there to do while you're driving than having a conversation with a lead? So before you get into your car, you can, develop on your phone, a group of people. These are the people I'm going to call this week. And all you got to do is tap and dial. There's nothing else to do, but maybe you decide to do it from your office. I don't know how you decide to develop your lead generation activity, but you have to be talking to at least 5 people. I'm not going to come here and tell you got to talk to 20 people a day. You're not going to do that. Most people don't do that. If you do, that's awesome. That's great. Kudos to you. But 5 conversations a day. Write this down. 5 conversations a day. 5 conversations a day. Let's do this math real quick. 5 conversations a day, 5 days a week equals 25 conversations. 25 conversations a week times 4 weeks equals 100 conversations. Based on the numbers, 50% of the people that we speak with will have some type of interest. That means you have 50 people at the end of the month that said, I may be looking to do something, or I may know someone that's willing to do something in real estate. With 5 conversations a day, you've got 24 hours. I just crushed the mindset that most agents have that I don't have time. That is a hallucination. Write this down. Having no time to have 5 conversations is a hallucination. It is a thought that is not real, that your mind is telling you, because the intention is not there. So number 1 in lead generation, and if this is all you do, if this is as far as you get in your mastery, let me tell you, you have just scaled to the next level. 5 conversations a day, 5 days a week, 4 times a month, you are on your way. Because if you times that by 12, you're going to look at the numbers of hundreds of people that are now warm and that you now have to stay top of mind. So it all begins with, how many contacts am I going to have per lead that I'm given, or per lead that I have? Number 2, if you look at the other side, it shows you, right, how your percentages go down if you are not intentional about those, contacts and those reaching out to people. Here is where it shows you exactly where most realtors are at. Most people just reach out one time for lack of a system. What is your system for knowing who I have to call? Listen, you could make it as simple. Keep it simple. Don't go start learning all kinds of CRMs and all kinds of programs and the latest, shiny object. Buy index cards. Index cards. It doesn't get simpler than Dollar Tree index cards, a little index card holder, and the little number 1 through 30 in there. And you just put the index cards behind the first day of the month. Who am I supposed to be talking to? The second day of the month. Who am I supposed to be talking to? The third, the fourth, all the way from the first day to the 31st day of the month. So super simple. Bottom line, in the anatomy of lead generation, whatever you've been doing so far is not going to be good enough to take you to the next level. That is the number one thing you need to understand. So if you want something different in life and you want to have something you've never had, you've got to do something you've never done. So even if it's right now committing to 5 conversations a day, 5 times a week, that's something maybe you've never done, and it's going to give you exponential results. Now, how do humans communicate? Because here's the deal. It is amazing to me. Number one, most people are not making their contacts. And your contacts, let's talk a little bit about contacts. But Lucy, I don't like calling people on the phone. Okay, so what do you like to do? You got to talk to people. You are in the business of people, communications with people. Your number one job is to find the people and talk to the people. So maybe you need to do those open houses I spoke about, but not 2 a month, not 1 a week, 4 a week. 4 times 4 is 16 open houses a month, so that you start. Let me tell you what happens when you get consistent and intentional and you develop the grit that it takes to really stand out. People take notice. When you start going into those neighborhoods and you start doing those open houses consistently, and then you go invite the neighbors, and then you let them know you're holding an open house at your listing, because this is what I do to help my sellers sell their property. Even if those sellers are listed with another agent, hear me close, even if those sellers are listed with another agent and they notice that you are outperforming their agent, guess what's going to happen when their listing expires? You have an opportunity of capturing that listing. You have an opportunity of capturing that listing because you outperformed their realtor. But when you're speaking to someone, and this is where skill sets come in, you have to talk like you are convinced that you are the number one real estate entrepreneur, CEO, whatever it is, your identity you're going to develop for yourself, that they're not going to find anyone else better than you. And you have to believe that first. Because if you're playing at a kindergarten level, listen, real estate is not going to get you to where you said you wanted to get to if you're playing at a kindergarten level. First thing is you got to show up, and your tone has to be on point, alive, excited, activated, full of energy. It is amazing to me how many people get on the phone or talk to people at an open house with low energy. Write this down. My energy defines my income. My energy defines my income. People like talking to enthusiastic people. People like talking to energetic people. People like talking to friendly people that smile. Listen, I've been teaching this since 2013. There's a lot of real estate agents that are just not smilers. But guess what? People like talking to people that smile. So if you're going to get paid $9,000 for smiling and getting to the closing table, guess what I would recommend you and I like to do? Smile more. We are in the human experience business. Write that down. I am in the human experience business. What is the experience that you are giving your buyers and your sellers when they are in your presence? What is the experience? Are you giving them an experience? What kind of experience is it? Is it an experience that just looks like the same old everybody else out there? Are you giving them an experience that stands out? What is the experience? If you take this and you really incorporate it into understanding, because this is why I told you, it's about your identity in the marketplace. Who are you? You got to show up and be on your A game. Write this down. As of today, I need to be a world-class real estate CEO. As of today, I must be a world class. Nothing else is going to make it through these next 36 months of real estate. Nothing else is going to make it. Nothing else is going, no one else is going to make it in these real estate. They're not going to scale up. I mean, maybe, one or two deals every quarter, but nothing else is going to make it in this market for the next 24 to 36 months, but world-class real estate, CEO-minded real estate agents, realtors. So your tone is 38%. Your tone is 38%. Why is that important? Because after today, you can't be speaking like you're depressed, confused, lost, chaotic, umming people to death. Watch those ums. When you're talking to people, people call you on the phone. Hey, I want to know about 123 XYZ Boulevard. There we go. For some, what kind of information can I give you? No, you need to know your product. Write this down. For me to be a lean, mean lead generating machine, I need to know my product. But Lucy, I have no listings. Guess what? Go on the MLS and find 4 listings and go preview them every day. Get product knowledge. You could not work, I could not work for Mercedes-Benz unless we knew our product, right or wrong? Yes, Lucy, right. But we are thrown into the field with no product knowledge and we're expecting to make 9 grand. How is that working out for most real estate agents where 87% of them are ending out of the business in the first 12 months? It's obviously not working. Would you agree? So product knowledge, lead generation begins with product knowledge. 4 listings a day. They don't have to be yours. It's called property previews. How many property previews are you doing on a daily? See, there's no reason. I am going to abolish every excuse that you have ever come up with or that anybody has told you that, is justifiable for you not to be making the money that you can make in this business. It's no excuses. What kind of season are we in? Write it down if you didn't write it down. We are in the whatever it takes season. We are in the whatever it takes season. So your tone of voice is 38%. Your body language. See, when people now call you and ask you about real estate, you're not gonna as much because now you just saw 16 properties in 1 week, 4 a day. It takes 30 minutes to preview a property. It takes 30 minutes to preview a property, and write this down, to do a property showcase that you can put on live on Facebook, on Instagram, and all of a sudden you look like you're a pro player. That's where lead generation begins. It's in your daily method of operating. See, you're sitting there waiting maybe for your phone to ring, and I'm telling you, it's going to take an offensive action play for you to start making your phone ring. But if your phone still doesn't ring, now you at least are building that confidence. 7% is only what you say. So people are feeling your energy. People are looking at how you're standing. Are you confident? Are you looking at them in the eyes? Are you smiling? What is that nonverbal? Write this down. Nonverbal body language, nonverbal communication. Write that down. Go on YouTube and learn about this stuff, because this is going to separate you from the bunch. I don't know if you've ever heard this, but as long as I've been in real estate, most people say, oh, realtors, they're a dime a dozen. Well, no, not all. Because I'm an elite pro player. I'm a world-class real estate agent. I'm on my A game. Why? Because I practice. Practice makes perfect, and perfect practice makes more perfect. So now when you go preview your property, this is going to help you with your lead generation. You with me? This is going to help you. In the anatomy of lead gen, there's only 3 components. Capturing leads. You got to capture leads. You have to capture leads. And if you have a reason for not being able to capture leads, reach out to Thalia, reach out to me, message us, say, hey, listen, I don't have leads. And I will give you ideas, concepts, strategies, tactics to show you that you do have leads, but you have to work them. Appointments. You are in the business of scheduling appointments. How often, Lucy? Every single day. Qualified appointments every single day. Every single day. Because the only thing that's going to pay you is getting to that closing table. The only thing that's going to pay you is getting to that closing table. I'm going to close out with this. The first technique, I'm going to focus on this technique for the next 2, maybe 3 weeks. I'm in no rush. I don't teach the same old workshops and Zoom meetings and this, that, and no. I want to go deep. I was sharing with Dalia last week. I said a lot of trainings and a lot of good trainings, good seminars, good workshops that are being taught right now are surface driven, very surface driven, very surface driven. A lot of information, no implementation. You walk out of there with a lot of informationitis and then nothing happens. I am a scuba diver coach. Put your gear on because we are diving and we're going deep. I have no rush. I don't need 5,000, slides to make me feel like I'm giving you all this stuff. No. I'm giving you the nitty gritty. I'm giving you boot camp level, boots on the ground, realtors in the trenches, real concepts, tactics, and techniques that make money. So the anatomy of lead generation begins with this: an array of resources available for a certain purpose. What is that purpose? Who are your buyers? Who are your sellers? Who are you looking to, capture? Here's the technique that works. When you learn to dig deeper with your buyers and your sellers, by knowing the questions to ask. So that's why for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be focused on the dig deep technique. Write that down. Dig deep technique. What does that look like? When you speak with someone, it's not about the product. It's about the person. Write this down. It's not about the product. It's about the person. I'll give you an example. I'm calling about 123 XYZ Boulevard. Awesome. Great. How can I help you with that property today? And they're going to say, well, I just want to know how much it's listed for. Excellent. While I get you that information, tell me. And you start asking the dig deep techniques. Is this going to be your primary residence? Is this going to be a vacation rental? Is this going to be an investment? How long have you been looking for a property? How long have you lived, at the location? Do you live here? Do you live out of state? Besides this property, there are other properties that I have that are similar. What is it about this property that caught your attention? What is the time? You have to dig deeper. How did you happen to pick this property? How did you happen to pick this area? What are the 3 top things that you're looking for? When you start having this level of conversation and you are asking questions, you are practicing the first C of the 4 C's of lead conversion, which is what? Connecting with that person, finding out their motivation. I have real estate agents that say, how do I get the buyer to buy? My friends, write this down. You cannot make anybody do anything. You cannot make the buyer buy. You cannot make the seller sell. Your responsibility is to understand one very important thing. I am in the human experience business. What type of experience am I going to deliver to this buyer or this seller? And the first technique that I have to master is digging deep. What is their motivation to buy? What is their motivation to sell? What is their time frame? Who is this going to involve? You would be surprised how many people show up to show properties. And then after they've shown 20 properties, now the person says, well, I've got to bring my partner, my spouse, my relative before I make a decision. Hold on. If you decide to be the CEO and you start shifting your method of operating, then you need to dig deep. You need to dig deep. So this is as far as we're going to get today. You know that this is what I have designed since 2018. It was a 12-hour certification. If you haven't received my ebook, write to us. You can get it for free. All the information is there, but I've decided to not just give away the free ebook, but also bring you on the journey with me to really help you to know how to implement this stuff. And the first technique that we are going to focus on is the dig deep technique, so that every time you have a buyer or a seller, you are now going to start digging deeper and finding out, is this person ready now, in the next 90 days, in the next 6 months, or are they going to be doing something in the next year? That is how you master real estate. So I am going to leave you guys with Aliyah. She will be happy to answer any questions that you may have.